The Global Gulag by Gansen John Welch Sensei. As we struggle to survive in the worldwide global Gulag's prison system, our ego and pride will not allow us to admit the truth of how we came to submit and surrender to this insane dystopia that was advertised and promoted as the final utopia. But we all, individually and collectively, built our prison walls brick by brick, even though there were some conjuring tricks. The vast majority of the building blocks, this should not come as a shock, consisted of lies, half-truths, folly and ignorance, and of course, this was not by accident or chance. Our evil elites, leaders and masters of disasters, plotted and planned this path to perdition, with demonic and satanic intentions, sabotaging, undermining, demeaning and ridiculing our education and information dissemination systems, changing them into propaganda and indoctrination institutions. These poisons of ignorance, folly and falsehood permeate all aspects of our society, creating division, fear and hate. Truth and freedom dies, drowned in the deluge of lies, half-truths, propaganda and indoctrination. Choice is all too often replaced by coercion, conformity, control, punishment and force. So how do we escape from this seemingly inevitable course? All the Amida Dharma saints and sages throughout the ages have taught that Amida's primal vow is the only way for suffering sentient beings living now in this dark, degenerate age of Dharma decline, which is so obvious it is unnecessary to define. Its characteristics, dangers and difficulties that forever prevent us from being free. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, Amida Buddha. Homage to Amida Buddha. I take refuge in Amida Buddha. The above verses were inspired by the following passages from the Path of Acceptance, commentary on Tannisho by Reverend Josho, Adrian, Cirlea, and the letters of Master Rennyo Shonen of Fumi, or Gabunshu. The Path of Acceptance, commentary on Tannisho by Reverend Josho, Adrian, Cirlea. Commentary on the 13th chapter, Influence of Past Karma. Quote, the Master once asked, Yuienbo, do you accept all that I say? Yes, I do, I answered. Then, will you not deviate from whatever I tell you? He repeated. I humbly affirmed this. Thereupon he said, now, I want you to kill 1,000 people. If you do, you will definitely attain birth. I responded, though you instruct me thus, I'm afraid it is not in my power to kill even one person. Then why did you say that you would follow whatever I told you? He continued, by this you should realize that if we could always act as we wished, then when I told you to kill 1,000 people in order to attain birth, you should have immediately done so. But since you lack the karmic cause inducing you to kill even a single person, you do not kill. It is not that you do not kill because your heart is good. In the same way, a person may not wish to harm anyone, and yet end up killing 100 or 1,000 people. End quote. The doctrine of karma is extremely important in Buddhism, not only that it explains how things work in the world, why we are what we are, why we have this form or body, but it also assures us of our free will. We are what we think, karma of thinking, what we say, karma of speech, and what we do, karma of action or body. And we can always change this karma and thus create a more peaceful and pleasant way of life. Apparently, by saying that sentient beings cannot free themselves from birth and death by their own power, it seems that Jodo Shinshu misinterprets or does not totally accept the doctrine of karma. However, Jodo Shinshu accepts fully the teaching of karma, just that it sheds light on a very important aspect that many Buddhists usually tend to forget. Yes, generally speaking, we can change our karma and thus decide to act in such and such a way, influencing our own destiny. But do we really always act as we wish? Suppose a person